Yeah. Wait, should we record this? Because I saw this on my feed and I was going to leave a comment and I saw your comment on it. And then I
Yeah.
didn't even end up leaving my comment.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. Okay.
Okay. When you start your business, no one ever prepares you for what's in store. So finding someone else who just gets it is sometimes the thing that can keep you pushing towards those big vision board business goals.
We're turning our Zoom coffee chats into a weekly, unfiltered podcast for online business owners. There were so many good ones, we always wanted to record them and repurpose them for content anyways. And that's on being a social media manager.
I'm Jessica Sheehy.
And I'm Madeline Daigan. And this is
hashtag
managed. I think it's perfect.
I like it. I like it.
Hot take. Christina Aguilera has the best Christmas album of all time.
I would agree. I would agree. So many people, and I am not coming for the queen of Christmas, Mariah Carey, by any means. I mean, obviously, great song, great song. But I would agree. I think Christina Aguilera has, first of all, she has such a great voice. I feel
Yes.
like she's like underrated as a singer. That's just my
Mm-hmm.
opinion, though.
100%. But the what made me think of this was because obviously we're now officially in the Christmas season. And I don't know, just sitting at the boutique, going through Spotify's Christmas albums, whatever, it wasn't doing it for me. Like everything that was popping up was not, I was like, this isn't my vibe. So I was like, let's go back to the nostalgic
Hmm.
albums that I listened to growing up. And I swear I have vivid memories of me. So I had a Christmas tree in my room growing up, like a small little pink Christmas tree, because,
Hmm.
it's me. And it was like a Barbie themed tree. So, you know,
I love that.
and,
They
and,
probably made you so happy, by the way, that you
oh
got
yeah.
a very similar tree for
Oh
Christmas.
yeah. Oh yeah. And I just remember like closing my door, like Christmas trees all set up, me living my best life. And this was the time of CDs. So like isn't that wild to think about shit like where it's like our phones are literally our music.
Yeah.
And we had like so again, I remember putting the CD into its player,
Mhm.
blasting it, giving a concert to invisible people and my stuffed animals, and
Mhm.
pretending I was Christina Aguilera. I also think Britney Spears has a good Christmas
Yeah.
album. Taylor Swift obviously has a good Christmas album. But I want to
Mhm.
know what, obviously, you agree Christina Aguilera has one of the best, but this is definitely a poll I will put in our stories because I'm curious, like hot takes, like what
Mhm.
is Mariah Carey's album the best Christmas album or not?
Yeah. Yeah. These are the questions we need to know as we get into the holiday spirit. I also think I'm going to throw Kelly Clarkson into the
Oh,
mix as
mm-hmm.
well. I
Mm-hmm.
think hers is really great. Yeah, I know there's so many newer holiday and Christmas songs that have come out lately, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Speaking of that, my like weekend thought, well, I actually no, I'm lying. It's a week thought. Um Spotify Wrapped, mine, I have no words. I will not be publishing mine to my story. It is just not it's not accurate like at all because I think the biggest thing, and if you guys know me, like I listen to every music genre. Like I am not there is not one genre I listen to more. Like it depends on my mood.
Mm-hmm.
Like, am I working out? Am I driving in the car? Like, if I'm just like kind of like not listening to a podcast, or if I just need like a good song, do I need a song that will like put me in my feels? Like I don't know. I'll listen to like absolutely anything. But my Spotify Wrapped is 100% country. And I'm so shocked at that. Like I do like country music. So my top artist, and I don't know. I'm feeling like it's because, and I'll say why I also think it's this. But so my top artist, Post Malone,
Okay.
and To me, that's interesting because I feel like the really recently, and I guess in 2024, the only Post Malone that I think I've listened to is his newer album because I listened to
Mm.
all his like collab songs. And so my top song for Spotify Wrapped is his collab song um with what what's the collab song? Oh, um with Morgan Wallen, I Had Some Help.
Mm,
Like
mhm.
that is definitely not my most listened to song.
I have
I'm so shocked at that.
I feel like your lots of people are saying this though. I think a lot of
Yeah.
people are saying that it is very inaccurate. Mine, I liked mine. Mine was kind of funny though because for my artists, it had like Taylor, like all the ones that I thought, or no, it
Mhm,
wasn't the artist, it was the songs. All of them
mhm.
were Taylor Swift except one, and it was The Spins by Mac Miller, which
Okay, that's so
kind of accurate, but like also I just thought it was one. It was literally 1 through 3 was Taylor, 4 was
mhm.
Mac, and then the 5th one was Taylor, and I'm just like, "Okay."
Okay, and you know what's so funny about that? I have a workout playlist that I listen to, and the number 1 song, like, the first song on the playlist is The Spins, and I always click to it, and even if it's on shuffle mode, sometimes I'll, like, shuffle through to get to that song.
It's such a
And
good
so
song.
it is. Okay, so I guess I maybe I exaggerated a little bit. I was feeling a little too crazy. So my number 1 is Post Malone, but when I look at that song, like it's from his country album, so I feel
Mhm.
like that's where I'm feeling like it's more skewed. Number 2 is Morgan Wallen. Um, I will say, like, I'm a big Morgan Wallen
Mhm.
fan. Like
Yes.
I will binge listen to his albums like over and over again. Number 3 is Taylor Swift. So, okay, maybe I'm being a little
Mm.
crazy. Number 4, Noah Khan. So, I'm really revealing the truth here. I'm surprised that for me Noah Khan is only number 4. And then number 5, I'm not supposed to say this, like Brianna Chicken Fry, please forgive me, but it's Zach Bryan. I'm so sorry, but prior to the drama, I was obsessed with the Zach Bryan radio playlist um on Spotify. And so I that was my go-to. Every time I was like working or like going in the car or something, I would turn that on first. I no longer do it though. I stand in solidarity
Yes.
with Spotify.
Okay, what about your podcasts?
Oh, okay. So my podcasts, guys, don't hate me, but you guys know I can't listen to myself talk. I love that
No,
you
yeah,
guys
no,
do.
same.
So yes, hashtag manage full disclosure. Also, just I want to just prove I'm not listening to the show for us to boost our results. I feel like that is also like that's that's me being transparent. Number 1, shocker, the toast. Number 2, Giggly Squad, shocker.
Mhm, mhm.
And number 3 is the Money for Couples podcast,
You've talked
which
about that
is a
one.
new name. That's by Ramit. What was it before? I think before it was like I Will Teach You to Be Rich, like
Mhm.
named after his Netflix show. Number 4 is uh see, I have the screenshot. Number 4 is a podcast that I don't listen to anymore. It's Gals on the Go. It's with 2 YouTubers, Brooke Michio and Danielle
Mm,
Carolyn.
okay.
I don't really listen to it anymore because I feel like they talk a lot about like New York City content, like a lot, they both live there. And yeah, I feel like I don't listen to that anymore. So I don't know. Maybe what I always like to look to at like what are my top songs like at the start of the year.
Mhm.
And I don't know. I have like so many thoughts. I need I need to like pull out my Spotify Wrapped, like put it in ChatGPT, and I need ChatGPT to like analyze all of this data for me and like tell me like where I went wrong. like
Yes, yes.
so I don't know. I have so many thoughts about that. Every time I get a Spotify Wrapped though, I'm like, okay, the new year, I'm gonna switch up my listening habits. I'm gonna like change this up. I don't know. I'd love to know like how it pulls because I just don't think it's super accurate data,
Yeah,
which I know for some people, I think they are either like, which that's what's crazy to me. Some people are like, this is spot on. And so in my head, I'm like, do you guys listen to any other artists or playlists? I don't
yeah,
think so.
yeah.
Um, or for some people, they're like, this is like really inaccurate.
Mhm.
So yeah. But on that note, I've been seeing so many of you guys have hashtag managed in your top podcast, and that is like, I don't know, that made my day. Made my day. So
Yeah.
also Ryan is one of those people, which I'm shocked though, because he listens to a lot of it's number 5 for him.
Okay, okay, okay.
um, but he listens to a lot of podcasts. So I think it's funny that that made 5 for him. Because I know he does not listen to us every week.
Yeah.
Like he should. So
Oh, I love that. And yes, seeing you guys share your raps and seeing that we made it in the top 5 is so exciting, and I would not be mad if you guys continued to share cuz we've only gotten a few. I will share though if you
mhm.
share that we are in your top 5. So
Yes.
tag
Yeah.
us
Absolutely.
so I can share.
Absolutely. Yes. Okay. Should we dive into our own weekly version of Spotify Wrapped and do our weekly reports?
Yes. I will start. So
Okay. Take us out.
this week I'm almost done with it, and I highly recommend everybody reads this, every woman read this, but it's called In the Flow by Alyssa Viti. I think that's how her last name is pronounced. But if we were to start a book club, this would be the one. This would be the one I think we all should read in
Mhm.
January, even right now. And you'll see why. So then I'm eating for my cycle. Again, that you're going to notice a common theme in this weekly report, but I'm eating for my cycle. How do I explain that in a short amount of time? Basically, with each cycle of our period, you're supposed to eat certain foods. So I'm trying to start to adapt that so that in the new year, I can kind of be on track with that. Then I'm playing Christmas music, obviously. I'm obsessing over all the Christmas decorations around Charleston. It is such a beautiful time right now. It's cold here, but there's no snow, and I know my Midwest homies would tell me to be quiet because there is no snow, but it is still really cold here.
Mhm.
And then I'm recommending learning about our periods and our cycles and how they affect our hormones, our health, and our productivity. I'm really excited. This is
Mhm.
something that I can foresee me talking about on my personal page a lot in 2025.
Oh
Um
yeah, that would be awesome.
I because I think I have talked about this a little bit this year and
Mhm.
just wanting to learn about it. And now I'm finally, I think, putting my money where my mouth is, essentially.
Mhm.
Um, just because I'm tired. I think what's motivated me to do this, sorry, I'm going on a small little Maddie rant here, but learning how to not feel lazy or like bad for not being as productive on certain days or even certain weeks. And like, again, this book talks a lot about how it's a lot to do with our society and our culture and how
Mhm.
the male 24-hour cycle versus our 28-day cycle. So yes,
Mhm.
highly recommend, but I definitely foresee me talking a lot about this on my personal page, Madeline Digan, this year or next year. So I'm also telling you all that so to hold me accountable because okay, one last side note. I was called out by my friend Marielle the other day because I forgot I didn't complete my 30-day favorite things series. She's like, "Yeah, remember when?" I'm like, "Oh, I kind of forgot about that." It's like, way
I
to
love
call
that
me
you
out.
remembered though and called.
Yes! And I
Yes.
was like, "You know what? That's fair. I needed that. I needed
Yeah.
that." And I was like, "You know what? We're gonna try again. We're gonna be better. We're gonna be better in 2025."
Mhm.
But I told her, I was like, "But I'm glad I inspired you to like,
Yeah.
wanna do it." And she's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Maybe just plan it out more than I did."
Right.
So
Yeah.
anyways, and then lastly I'm treating myself to Second Sunday on King Street, which is held every second Sunday here in Charleston, and just a lot of local artists set up along King. They shut down King Street, and I'm excited. Brennan might come with me. I told him he
Ooh.
doesn't have to come. I just
Mhm.
really want to make my rounds and like
Mhm.
say hi to my people.
Mhm.
But yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and I'm looking forward to doing that next month with you. So,
yes, me too.
Okay, so going into my weekly report, I just started. I don't think this book.
This is a good
I think
book.
it's it. Do you like it? Okay,
Mhm.
is it a Reese's book pick?
Yes, because it is
It is? Okay.
because they also the show. So, yes.
Oh, right, right, right. Yes, you're right. No, I do remember learning that there's a show. So I am reading The Last Thing He Told Me by Laura Dave because I'm like I said last week, guys, I gotta start reading and finishing books. So I knew that this was going to be like a highly recommended book that I could actually get through. So far, I really like it. I've just been reading like later at night than I
Mm,
typically would. So I need to get through it. But it's good. It's a really good story that is actually keeping me hooked, and I can't tell you guys the last time that has happened. Eating I don't know if I guess it went viral, but the baked feta pasta,
mm.
which is not new by any means, but I don't know. I'm always looking, maybe it's just because I'm like, okay, if ever I'm like meal planning, I'm like, girl dinner, gonna make a pasta, of course. And I like it because it's like a non like there's not a protein in it. I do have to add that in for Ryan though. So I really like that recipe. It's like very minimal ingredients. Playing my favorite playlist, which I could honestly listen to this year round, but if I'm working, it's Cozy Christmas Jazz on Spotify. And it lives up to the hype. Just imagine what your local coffee shop is playing during Christmas time. It's this. I'm obsessing over every creator, like micro, macro, like huge influencers doing Vlogmas. That is something that if I were in my content creator era, and we know that I'm not, and who knows when I might wake up. I have a feeling that I'm gonna wake up one day and I'm gonna just be a content creator. But until then, I'm obsessing over everyone doing Vlogmas because one, I always loved watching YouTube growing up, so it reminds me of like OG YouTube creators. But I just love that people are being so consistent with just showing their life. And I think a vlog is whatever you want it to be. I think that's where it's really creative, right? You can do really like artsy or like ASMR, or you could just honestly real life authenticity. I'm recommending, and this is like a random hobby that I literally picked up over the weekend. Something, I mean, not new, like I've definitely done this
Yeah.
before, but scrapbooking. Randomly, literally on Saturday, I fell onto scrapbook TikTok, and I'm like, I think I should start scrapbooking. Later, after I was like watching videos, I downloaded the Walgreens app. I like printed so many photos from my phone. They were ready in like 30 minutes. I went to Michael's, grabbed a bunch of supplies, and then later that night, I'm scrapbooking. I think that just shows like when I get an idea, I
Mhm.
fixate and I do it. But I actually like have really liked doing it. And so it's been a really fun, creative way. And now I'm like, okay, I have all these supplies. I can actually make my vision board for 2025 for the end of the year. So definitely recommending doing that. And then I'm treating myself to, if you guys have a Publix near you, if you're one of our listeners who are outside of the like Florida South where Publix exists, I am so sorry because I am treating myself and obsessing over Santa's White Christmas ice cream. It is so good. If you guys haven't tried it, try it.
What's in
We're in
it? Cuz I need it cuz I haven't had it.
it's like a ooh, is it a vanilla ice cream? It's like a vanilla ice cream and it has like espresso chips, like espresso chocolate chips in it,
Oh.
but it's like the right amount. Oh, it's so good. So good.
Okay.
I don't know. I know like in Florida it's pretty cool here. I'll say cool because I don't want anyone coming for me as a Floridian. It's cold. But it's been pretty cool here, except I think over the weekend it's gonna be 80s again because it's Florida. Why not? But even though it's been pretty cool, like, I don't know, ice cream to me always sounds good, even if it's
Oh, yeah.
absolutely cold out. Like, yeah, absolutely. So that's my weekly report. And yeah, should we dive into the water cooler?
Yes.
Join us at the water cooler.
Let's hear a question from one of our listeners and see how we can help. So this week, they start off by saying, especially when you're just getting started. Sometimes I feel like I'm totally not ready or like I don't have what it takes to start taking on clients. Other times I'm over here thinking I'm the best.
Oh, I think okay, hold on.
I was
Sorry
like,
guys.
wait.
I think this was an error on my part. I'm pretty sure I'm missing the first sentence of this because I remember I pulled this in for a reason. It's about imposter syndrome.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
Let me see. Did I what did I do? Hold on. Hold on, guys. Bear with us. No. Okay, I'm looking at the history like in our notes here, like cuz sometimes it'll
Yeah.
save where this is like live action, like
Live
things
action.
totally. But okay, so I do remember though, it's about imposter syndrome.
Okay.
Okay, that makes sense. Imposter syndrome, especially when you are getting started. Like sometimes you feel like
Okay,
you're
okay,
not
okay, okay.
ready or don't have what it takes to take on clients. Other times you're thinking like, what did they say? Like,
I'm the
I'm the
best.
best.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
which
that is,
really is that.
yeah.
Yeah. I
I,
feel like
oh no,
oh,
go
go
on.
ahead.
You
Oh,
go.
I was gonna say, I feel like imposter syndrome is, and Maddie and I have been talking about this a lot lately.
Hmm.
And it's something that, like, you always have the feeling of imposter syndrome. I truly think. Like, I don't know if there's ever a time that you truly outgrow imposter syndrome. Like, you're always scaling and growing and learning new things. I really think imposter syndrome is just acceptance. It's accepting that you are good enough, you are skilled, you do have the skills. And honestly, if anyone crosses your path and they question that, which again, imposter syndrome's in our head, so it's not technically like the outside people or clients who are questioning it. But if they do, I would politely show them the door, in that Zoom call. Thank you for your time. But no, I'm not gonna, pour my energy into someone who doesn't see my energy. So yeah, I think imposter syndrome is something that I know I definitely go through ebbs and flows. And I don't know if this is something that I don't know if it's even covered in the book you're reading, Maddie, but I would almost wonder like if our cycle would affect that.
Yes, no, and that's literally I think the sole reason of why I started, because I would say with my hormones, like, I, first of all, I'm gonna get blood work done in January just to like check everything, whatever.
Hmm.
But because I don't think I have it, I'm sure I do. I'm sure I do, but like nothing like what I hear and what I'm reading about with like is it PCOS? Like that, just like
Hmm.
those types
Yeah.
of hormonal imbalances. Like I don't, I again, I could be completely wrong, but I don't think I have anything like that. Um, but
Yeah.
yes, the book talks about like when we're more social and just, I think imposter syndrome too, where maybe by learning our hormones and just more about our cycle, it can help. I feel very wordy today. I feel like I'm very wordy. Um,
No, but I love everything you're saying though.
okay,
Totally.
okay. And the one other thing I want to say about imposter syndrome, something I like to do when I'm starting to feel imposter syndrome is A, be hyped up by Jessica, but B, also like read things about the greats, remind
Mhm.
myself that, I mean, let's talk about Martha Stewart, for instance. That
Mhm.
woman has been killed and come back alive. That didn't make
Mhm.
sense, but she's come back from the dead quite often. And
Yes.
I just recently saw a TikTok with her, and they were asking her about imposter syndrome, and they're like, have you ever suffered from imposter syndrome? And she's literally like, no. Like, what? Like, just pretend it's
We
not.
need to repost that after
Yes.
this.
Okay,
That is
I'm
iconic. If people haven't seen that, like no, that stance. And if you guys have we talked about this a few weeks ago, but if you haven't
mhm.
seen the documentary on Netflix, definitely add it to your watch list because you'll know why her saying that about imposter syndrome is no surprise.
And I'll also say some days you're more emotional, like you need to cry. Give yourself, this was one thing I think I've actually started maybe a few years ago, more recently. And I can't remember where I first heard it or read it, but they were saying when you're sad or like you're starting to feel that imposter syndrome, give yourself like 10 minutes, cry, feel your feelings, and then you're done. Like, so
Mhm.
you've given it time, you've given it space, and now it's time to remember who the heck you are.
Mhm. Yeah, that's good.
But I agree with you. Like, I wish I could tell you all that it's not a thing, or that like after 10 years plus of doing this that we don't suffer from imposter syndrome, but we
Mhm.
do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
maybe that makes it less lonely too, for hopefully you listeners,
Mhm.
where that can give you some comfort.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. I think like having support, and I think that can look in many different ways. Like I feel like so many of us, when we start our business or, start our freelancing journey, maybe we have a good support system at home, maybe we don't. I always hope that you do, but it looks different for everyone. So maybe it's not, maybe finding a support system, like Maddie and I found each other on Instagram. You could still certainly find anyone on Instagram. I would honestly just send that cold message, like introduce yourself on Instagram. I don't even remember what was like our introductory to each other on
I,
Instagram. I don't even know like how it happened. It feels like it was mutual, if that even makes any
yes,
sense at all.
yes.
And so, reach out to someone who does what you do, like whether they're the same level of as you, whether they're, if you perceive them as being a higher level than you, like just reach out to someone to build a community. Also, shameless plug for the hashtag managed collective. It's a free Facebook community you can join just by being in the social media marketing world. And there are so many people in there. And I guarantee you can go find a post from someone looking to do like coffee chats or just vent sessions, or just, I don't know, even connect. I see so many people in there like, let's just connect on DM. Like, let's just connect on email. Like, can we just build like a rapport, build a relationship? And if you don't see any posts like that, like make your own post. But finding those people who are like your support system is what can help like combat any thoughts of imposter syndrome. It won't kick them to the curb completely, but now you have someone to go to when they do kind of creep back in.
Also, okay, yes. And one other thing, everything you just said made me think of another thing is girl flirt. Like girl flirt online, where it's like seriously, like where even if it's with your favorite influencer, like please
Yeah,
flirt with
for
that. Where
sure.
it's like please flirt with that, because it's try and get that one comment like that gets the most likes, that
Mhm.
other you get other people commenting on, and because that's just then gonna help you
Mhm.
grow your girl gang.
Yes. Yeah, I like that. Ooh, that was a good tip.
Okay,
That was
amazing.
good.
That makes up for all my wordiness.
Oh my goodness, that was good. Okay, should we dive into what's been on our feed lately?
Yes.
What's on our feed this week? From trending topics to interesting conversations, here's what's been catching our attention lately.
You kick it off because I'm excited. I hadn't seen this, so I'm excited.
Okay. Yeah, so I feel like I don't know. I full disclosure, I don't know if this has been around or if this is like the first time that it's happened, but Chewy, they are a like a pet company that you can order from online, their e-commerce. They have a thing called Chewy Claus. And it is where you can write a letter, like a letter to, Santa from your, furry pet, and share their holiday list. Whatever is on that list. And in one thing that I thought was really cool, which I don't think I really realized until I like went to go read like kind of the terms and conditions. But for every letter they receive, they are donating 1 pound of pet food and supplies to their charity, which I think is really great, kind of giving back to pets in need. And they are fulfilling those pet lists. It is very random, and I've seen a couple of people who've like received their boxes. They almost look like PR boxes. They're so cool. But they're kind of fulfilling those. So I don't know if I know that my sister actually did this for Winston, and then she did it for her dog as well. And she says she hasn't heard anything back, so she doesn't know if she's like approved or denied. I guess I don't
Mm,
know if they send you something or if it's just like denied, or if you find it in the mail, or what that looks like. But I thought this was such a fun way for a company that is known for having like a really great like company culture for like the pets and the customers. And what a fun way to kind of like introduce the brand to people who've maybe never ordered from
mm.
Chewy before. So I thought it was really creative, especially for the holidays.
I love that. I don't have a dog, but I wish I did, and
Mhm.
I would
Yeah.
totally be buying that. Uh,
Yes.
okay, so un completely different from yours. I don't did you see this though? So Alex Cooper of or Call Her Daddy is coming out with her own Unwell drink.
Mhm.
And is there anything this woman can't like I just
Seriously.
her empire, I'm obsessed, but I'm obsessed with her. She understands marketing. She has an
Mhm.
amazing team and the the pictures, the rollout of this is I'm obsessed. I It's launching January 1st. I feel like this is gonna become hashtag managed new drink, just like along with Poppy and Olipop.
Mhm.
I love though the angle she's taking is there's so many drinks out there that have been created for men, f- only for men,
Mhm.
and this goes back to the cycle syncing. I am telling you because
Mhm.
it talks a lot about how like workouts, like there are so many studies like women's health is not studied nearly as
Mhm.
much as it should be. Like we're
Yeah.
never in any studies. So anyways, she's making this drink and she's saying like it's created by a woman but for everybody.
Mhm.
She's really going on like not there's not a lot of sugar. What else, it's gently caffeinated. There's vitamins B3, B1, B6, B1. Again, what does that really mean? I don't
Mhm.
know, but
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Then it's like electrolytes and juicy flavors, but she has sodium, magnesium. So like again, I love magnesium. We're
Mhm.
all highly under I don't even know what I'm trying
Yep.
to say.
Yep.
We need magnesium. You need more magnesium in your life. And then the flavors are strawberry, orange hibiscus, and mango citrus. But so how do you seen that? How do you seen this? Or am I showing it to you for the first time?
Yeah, so I saw what did I see? I think actually this video popped up on my explore page,
Mm,
that I know that you linked in around it, and I feel like it's such a great idea. Like I think she knows her like her audience so
mm,
well,
mm-hmm.
and I think too she competes with like with the big boys, right? Like she
Yeah.
competes and gets like great, like I mean gosh, like think about like her Spotify deal, and now is she getting another one? I can't even remember. But like I mean again, she's like making like really big like moves with Call Her Daddy, obviously Unwell like as a network as a
Mm-hmm.
whole is huge. So yeah, no, I think again this is just like she's like just getting started. So I'm here for it. I'm here for like the marketing. Even when like Unwell, like the network, like the media company came out, like their marketing very similar to this. Like it's just very creative.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's really well done. And I'm
Ama-
excited to try the product too. Like it
yes.
seems
Oh
so
yeah.
good. It doesn't seem like it's so interesting. I have kind of like a hot take around this too. Um like when celebrities and I would consider Alex Cooper to be a celebrity, but when they launch a company, like to me, if they launch it like this way where they're like slowly rolling it out, there's something about that that I like better, if that makes sense,
Mm-hmm.
versus them just one day, like, hey, go to Unwell, drink or drinkunwell.com, whatever the website is, and buy this and buy this. And they're like shilling the product. I don't know. Does that make any sense? Like,
Yeah. No,
I
that
think
makes
there's a
sense.
difference between like kind of what they're actually creating versus them just, again, influencing another product to be sold to their audience. I hope
Mm.
that makes sense.
Yeah. No, 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 it does. Oh my goodness. I wish we had a better segue into today's topic, but here we are. And I am excited for this topic because I'm the one who I feel like I just threw this idea in to Asana a while back, but I want to talk about the evolution of social media because I feel like we don't talk about that enough. And I don't know, it's just an interesting topic, I think. And really, maybe it's because we're in a time of reflecting, and there's been so many changes to social media this year, like platform, like interfaces, new features, and that's not going anywhere. I think that's something that both Jessica and I've said since we started our businesses. I feel like this was something, honestly, Jessica, that I think I often heard you talking about on your platform, again, and same vice versa. And that
Mhm.
was social media is constantly changing. And that's something that I've always tried to explain to clients when they felt overwhelmed, and really comfort them to be like, hey, like social media is constantly changing. You're overwhelmed by that. That's why you're hiring me. It's like I'm here to stay up to date on all the social media trends, platform changes, and all of that. But I thought this could be kind of fun to go down memory lane and I don't know, even like do trivia where it's like, what was the first social media platform? Because I think a lot of people often assume, actually, now I'm trying to remember what I feel like I need to poll people and what they think
Mhm.
it was, but it was before, it wasn't MySpace. Like there was well
Right,
not,
that's what I was thinking.
but there
Like
was it was like the blogs like before
like
that.
instant message almost? Like, cause didn't that have, like, a social
uh,
component to it?
yes, but oh, hang on, now I'm googling it because 6 degrees, that's what it was.
Oh,
6degrees.com.
yep, yep.
And it launched in 1997, and that's something that I just, that's always an interesting fun fact that I like to tell people, because before MySpace, before, like,
Mhm.
with the internet, the first social media platforms were basically blogs. OG,
Yeah.
and the dot com boom.
Mhm.
Um, but I find it interesting because there were so, and honestly, so 6degrees.com is technically what people consider as the first one, but there were
Mhm.
other ones before MySpace even that didn't stick.
Yeah.
And obviously MySpace had went away as well. And something I don't think we give Mark Zuckerberg enough credit for is like he figured it out how to stick and how to
Mhm.
evolve it and grow it. Has it always been grown? That makes no sense. For the best?
Mhm. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I would like, and that's where you have the, what was the documentary that came out?
Oh, yeah.
The social,
Was it
social
this
dilemma,
no,
the social
social
dilemma.
yeah, that sounds right.
But
That's
talking about the people who created, do you remember a Facebook without the like button? Because I don't know if I do, maybe a tiny bit,
mm,
but I always remember the likes.
yeah.
Always remember the likes and the down
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, in the early days.
and the early, oh my goodness.
I feel like Facebook's evolution. I mean, obviously, like we're talking about every platform, but like even Facebook has like grown so much. And granted, like Facebook and Instagram, we gripe about the changes because they've been around the longest, and I think they've certainly shifted more. Like obviously, like Twitter to X has shifted, like even LinkedIn has shifted. But when you think about it from like the early platforms, and you consider MySpace, you consider Facebook like circa 2000s.
Mhm.
You think about even Twitter circa early 2000s as well, like very, very different platforms. I think it's so interesting too, like from so I wanted to see like specifically because I knew it was 2000s for MySpace, but 2003. So that's a big jump from 6 degrees to
Well,
MySpace. So I
and
feel, yeah.
mhm. And Friendster, I again never, like,
Oh
we
yeah,
were still really little, where
yeah.
that's, tell me if you agree with this or not agree with it. associate with it. Again, I don't know if that's the right word, but I take pride in being a millennial for the sole reason, purpose that we literally have seen social media platforms like from like the Facebook to
Mhm.
what Facebook is today.
Mhm.
That's been kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think it definitely like adds to a layer of kind of to your point, Maddie, like clients are hiring you to like take care and take control of like when the platforms do change or when another platform pops up. Like for example, like obviously like Twitter to X has definitely changed, but now the founder of Twitter has launched Blue Sky. So
Mhm.
it's like, okay, is that going to give Facebook and Meta like a run for its money? Will it give X a run for its money? Like, but again, it's very similar in the platform because it's literally created from Twitter's founder. Um, but does it stick? Does it pop on? Like, I think it's just so interesting how much it's changed. The one thing that I think is so interesting from like a millennial perspective too, on like the early days of social media, and maybe it's why we're always preaching like community building
Mm.
and being social, is because that's like the social media that we grew up with, if you will. Not necessarily the let's create for the algorithm or let's create like I don't know, this specific content or like short form content or whatever. Like I don't know, we were focused on community building because
Mm.
that's how we grew up. Like I mean, you would build your friends list on MySpace, on Facebook. Like you would grow your community. Like I don't know. I think it's just so different, just perspective wise, because of that too.
So I love that. And I want to add on to that because I found this article and it was talking about the phases. So, like the birth of social media and then transition to like the Facebook era, the visual media takes over. So, I kind of want to read some of this. So, it was saying phase one, like the birth of social media, the purpose was connecting with friends, self expression through profiles and blogs.
Mm-hmm.
And then when
Mm-hmm.
we get into the Facebook era, the purpose was expanding networks, real time updates, and video sharing. Again, that adds up. Like,
Mm-hmm.
then phase three was visual media takes over. So that's now we're in the 2010 through 2015. And the purpose was to share moments visually, inspire creativity. Phase four, the mobile first and instant gratification came 2015 to 2020, which was quick, snackable content and live interaction. And now, what we're in currently is the era of authenticity, which is moving away from polished feeds to real and raw content. And I think this is a good now segue of like what we think too. This is definitely not our 2025 prediction episode at
Mm-hmm.
all. That will come. But how now it's the virtual reality, and the rise of platforms like Meta's um Horizon Worlds. I think I'm saying that for the fully immersive
Yeah.
experience. And I do. Tell me if you agree with this. Do you think you and I are we're gonna have to start to learn some AI
I
and
think
like
so.
virtual reality? I agree.
I think so because I don't think it's going anywhere.
Me
I
either.
think it's just going to be it soon it'll become a more, lack of a better term, like mainstream thing
Mm-hmm.
that
Mm-hmm.
people are doing. And I think there's such a good it's such a good thing to be an early adopter of things.
Mm-hmm.
Like now I think even though I like to be an early adopter, I'm not necessarily like let me just throw all of the eggs into this basket. Let me get every client I have like onto this specific piece. But I do think it like really is something that is going to be super beneficial. And I don't know, I think for like creativity purposes, I think I wouldn't hate learning it either.
No, I feel like you and I would be like, can you lock us in a dark room for a week for us maybe not a dark room, but it's kind of where I'm just like, let me
Yeah.
just like nobody disrupt me. Like I'm going
Mhm.
to figure this out. And do you guys have one of Meta like the headset?
We don't, but you guys
Yeah,
do.
and I kind of want you like this is gonna be a thing. Now I'm gonna like bring it over and be like, I need you to experience this with me because it is
Mhm.
cool. Like I
Mhm.
think that by the time we have kids that it and like they're teenagers, I think that, because Brendan has said this too, I think every household will have one because I think
Mhm.
it's kind of like phones. Like I think
Yeah.
right now
Yeah.
the main reason why people don't is because of the price point.
Mhm.
Um but they're kind of fun. Like I don't know if I think you know the story, but I've never told the podcast the story. But so Brennan, this happened like 2 years ago or whenever the most recent headset came out. The Oculus, right? That's what we're calling. Yeah, the
Mhm.
Oculus.
Yeah, yeah.
My husband decided to go out and again at $500 buy this Oculus without me telling me. And I'm sorry, we are a family who, if you're going to be spending that kind of money, like we
Mhm.
communicate that. This man did not communicate that, and I was so mad, so mad.
Mhm.
And then, of course, then I try and I'm like, I'm still mad, but this is
Mhm.
cool, but I'm still mad. Like,
Yeah.
what?
That's so funny. I know. But I agree. I think it'll become, I mean, granted, phones are still very expensive, but we now
Mhm.
see it as like a necessity. So I could definitely see like in the future, like it would become a necessity because it would just become a part of like technology and our life as like a society. I think it's really interesting to just to see like again, not to like really backtrack so much to the community aspect, but like when you think about your brand on social media, like trying to like innovate, I really don't think you don't have to like do the most,
Mm-mm.
right? Like you just have to like think about your audience and how they're using the platform. Like how are they using Facebook or Instagram or TikTok or Pinterest or LinkedIn or whatever tools platforms you're on, and just be there, be on the platforms and put out content that's for them on those platforms. And I know you're thinking like, okay, Jessica, well now I'm thinking like, well, what do I post and what do I do this, like, now granted that's a topic for a whole other day, but I think it's so important too to think about like as social media changes and as platforms change with new features, maybe there are times where your audience or your business like outgrows a platform,
Mm.
or maybe there's a time where it's like, hey, let's introduce this. Let's add this into the mix. Um, I don't know if it's just because we're like in end of 2024, start of 2025, but I'm looking at all the platforms we're on and I'm like, do we need to be on all these? Like, are we even like seeing? I mean, granted, we're seeing results and growth, but like, are we seeing anything else? So anyway, just thinking about like how do things like evolve in that sense? Like, you can always kind of grow in and out of the tool. I also think too, I'm gonna say like a hot take on kind of like the evolution of social media in my mind. I think if you are someone who is constantly saying, and I think this at times, but I'm not like, let's get back to it. But businesses who are like, I want to get back to like the old Facebook, like Facebook circa 2015, or can we get back to the OG Instagram? And I'm not talking content here because I think we should get back to old content
Yeah.
and get out of this whole whatever world we're in now. But people who are like, let's get back to how the algorithm used to work and how it was a chronological feed. And it's like, okay, granted, that's a completely different platform. Instagram 2024 versus Instagram
Yeah.
like 2014. Like those are two completely different platforms in my eyes. So I think thinking about it in the sense of I want to get back to how it was, like platforms are never going to change to go backwards. They're always going to innovate to go forwards. So think about like how do you stay on as a marketer or like a business owner, whoever whatever role you may have, and how do you switch that to your business versus thinking and dwelling on the past. Now that being said, I do miss when Instagram was let me share my silly lunch photo. 500
Okay.
miss that era, but
Okay, I have some trivia that like I want to end
ooh, okay.
on, but and because I there one of them was like what was the first picture on Instagram?
Mhm.
But anyways,
Ooh.
but I don't know everything you just said. Also, you want to know what it made me think of? And Harmony and you may agree we need to cut this out. I don't know, or it's like live time. You all listening get to hear it. But all of this talk is just making me think about
Mhm.
growth experts on Instagram.
Mhm.
And everything we've said just makes me feel like, how do I want to see, this is very wordy. How do I want to say this appropriately? It's all scams. Like the people, the growth experts, you're scammers.
Mhm.
And because the platform's literally constantly changing. The algorithm is constantly changing.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know why I felt the need to say that. Again, we can cut it out, but like
No, I'm glad you said that because can I also say like full transparency to all of you guys? I did a consulting call last week. Just a 60-minute one-off consulting call. I've never worked with this business owner before. It was a one-time purchase kind of thing. It was my consulting calls got put into a gift guide and it got purchased through that. Just felt like
okay.
I needed to add that backstory. But anyway, um, so I'm on this call. We're like 45 minutes in. I love these calls. They're always so interesting at the start 'cause it's like icebreaker. I want to get to know you, get to know me. Do you trust me? Okay, let me tell you how to run things. But then 45 minutes in, and she proceeds to tell me that she did another consulting call. Like I don't remember the time frame. I think it was like a while back. And that social media manager, growth marketer, or whatever
Yeah.
you want to call him, um, told her that she needed to post at exactly this time in the morning a carousel, and exactly at this time in the evening a reel. And posting that every single day, 7 days a week, is how she will grow. And it's how this person grew their Instagram to, I don't even remember, hundreds, 200s, 300,000 followers, something crazy. And so I had to kind of like respectfully like stop her in her tracks. Um because it's so unfortunate that along the same thing of this, someone creates an Instagram account and who knows? I don't want to judge their marketing ability, their social media ability. I think they're a great salesperson. Ethics in question, but I think they're a great salesperson nonetheless. And they did something to grow their account to massive numbers. You can't sell that as a framework at all. And so, you know what I told her? I said, that won't work for you, but that strategy, who it will work for? It would work for me. It would work for Social Savvy. And do you want to know why that would work for Social Savvy? Not because, like, I know how to execute it better than you. Like, no, not by any means, probably not. But I'm selling something different. I'm selling the same thing. If we don't talk about that like in our content, that's not our content strategy at Social Savvy. But if I did those 2 posts a day for every day for whatever for a month, and I talked about growing to 100K followers, a million followers on Instagram, make $300,000,
Oh
make
yeah.
all these crazy claims, like I would grow and I would see crazy results. It would go against everything else that I'm talking about. But again, all that to say is these growth marketers on Instagram, like it's almost very genius, but at the same time ethics again in question. But you're teaching people how to grow on Instagram. These people are on Instagram and they're looking at their follower account and they're like, man, I'm not growing. Like, what's going on? You're writing content to where it's like, oh, don't you miss the days of chronological feeds and all of this? Here's my formula. Here's how you need to fix it. And then, of course, they're going to buy into it because you're speaking to their pain point on their pain point on Instagram. So I'm glad you brought that up because I think that's an epidemic in the social media marketing world, not to be so dramatic about it, but so many people are making money off of people for this. And you know what's so sad about that is you go buy that strategy, you go follow that strategy, you don't see results.
No.
And then it makes you question what you're selling, what your offer is, what your copy is, what your messaging is. And it's 9 times out of 10 that's probably not the problem. It's just you're following like a really faulty formula
Mm.
because social media changes every single day. It
Every
changes
single
every day.
second. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
they're in their back end, the coders are coding. They're like,
Mhm.
ooh, let me try
Mhm.
this. Let me try that.
Yeah. 100%.
Okay, I am glad I did bring it up because I
Yeah.
don't, and I think we just found another podcast episode like for the new year because I don't know. I think maybe too right now, just I've been getting a lot of that content and it's just making me so mad. So, in
Mhm.
summary, if you are a growth expert or whatever,
Yeah, and for
And
the record, I think I just want to add, I think I misspoke. I think I said growth marketer. I want to change what I said to
mm,
growth expert because growth marketer is a real valid role. And
yes.
guess what? We don't even focus on Instagram. So, yeah.
Now,
Instagram growth gurus is who
yeah.
that's for.
And you may not be our audience, and that's okay.
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay, so to end though, I want to kind of quiz you with some fun
Oh,
little
okay.
trivia.
Okay.
I and I'll save some for our stories too because I don't know. I this is
Okay.
fun to
Yeah,
geek
yeah.
out on.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
okay, so I think I'm starting off easy. When Facebook first launched in 2004, the Facebook, who was allowed to join?
Oh, college students? Or did you
Yes.
have to have an EDU email?
So you are correct, but it was only Harvard students. So in the so it was
Oh,
only Harvard because
okay.
hence where Marky
Yeah, yeah,
Mark
yeah.
went. But
No, that
then
makes sense.
yes, it went to the EDU accounts, and then yeah, I
Okay.
think it was
Ooh,
two
interesting.
thousand and six. So I would have been in sixth grade. I don't know if you were a
Mhm.
year below me in school, but that
Yeah.
was our middle school.
Okay.
Okay.
Interesting. I don't think I realized Harvard was the exclusive
Mm,
for the Facebook.
yeah. Yeah. Okay. Which platform introduced the hashtag and in what year?
Oh my god. This is like the hardest trivia ever. Um
Don't
okay,
overthink
wait.
it. Don't overthink it. This one's not that. Don't overthink it. You get the so platform. Start with platform.
I'm overthinking it. I'm overthinking it. Oh my gosh. Okay, wait. So, what platform and then when?
Mm-hmm.
Ah, God, I'm either gonna be so spot on or I'm so off. Is it Twitter?
Yes. 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 Yes.
Okay, okay. Um, year?
That's kind of hard, but
I
like
don't I'm gonna
same.
go I'm gonna go like, I don't know, oh 06, oh 07?
Oh seven. Yeah. Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
se
Yep.
okay, oh 07. Okay,
Okay.
interesting.
And
Okay.
then what? Okay. So this is you're not gonna get this because I never would have gotten this. But what was the subject of the very first Instagram post? So like essentially the first picture. But okay,
Mm,
I'm gonna give you. I'll help you, and then I'll tell you. But
okay.
if you had to pick, if I were to give you multiple choice, and it was coffee, a dog, or food, what would it be? Which would you pick?
God, I'm leaning I don't know. I'm leaning towards food.
You wouldn't be too far off. So it was a picture of a dog and a taco stand, and it was posted by co-founder Kevin Systrom, if that's how you say it,
Okay.
on
Interesting.
on July 16th, 2010. Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Okay. I would have never guessed a dog at a taco stand for
Okay,
the first post.
and then the last one, and I love this one because I will never forget my college professor. Like I remember this class because she asked us this when we were going over Snapchat. What was Snapchat originally called when it launched in 2011?
Oh no. I knew this. Hold on.
You
Oh my god, I knew this. Because I
have to
I
th-
do not I do
it
not
has
recall.
it has to do with like why like the whole like how Snapchat like came about, where it's like the
Right.
picture
Right.
went away.
Jeez. I don't know. I'm gonna have to like use my like phone a friend
Okay,
here.
okay.
Like, oh my gosh. It's you're gonna say it, it's gonna like hit me
You
like a ton of bricks.
peekaboo.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Cuz yeah.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I remember that. Okay. No, that makes okay.
And
That was a
also,
good
okay, and this will be my last note, but do you still use Snapchat like personally?
I do not.
Me
I do
either.
not. I don't think I've used it for years either. Like, it's been a
So,
really long time.
yes, same, but I kind of want to log back in because so I when I take you to a works class here in Charleston, like there's so many like Gen Z girls, and even
Mhm.
who knows, maybe some of them are alpha now because I don't even know.
Yeah, I know.
But they're so cute, and like all of them will like, but they'll like I'll see them because
They
like right before,
Snapchat, yeah,
yes, like right
yeah,
before class, like, and so instead of adding it to their Instagram story, which is what I do,
right.
they'll put it on their Snapchat, and I'm like, oh my god. And all of them, I'm telling you, I'm like, I feel
Mhm,
dated in that class because I'm like, and that
mhm.
it's made me be like, do I, again, none of my friends I think are on Snapchat. Like I don't know who I would be snapping because Brennan had a Snapchat, but like he doesn't use it anymore. Like,
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. No, that's a good point. I know, like, so my sister, Gen Z,
mm-hmm.
does not use Snapchat as much as she used to, but still uses it. But yeah, no, I have not used it in years. And I think even a few years after like I stopped, I still think I'm sure there's like a handful of people that I know who still use it,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel like those are the people who are kind of like still in their like like post high school
Oh
like
yeah,
college
oh yeah,
era. You
oh
know what I
yeah.
mean? Like the
No,
internet
and
classes.
oh yeah.
No shame, no shame.
No
But
shit.
I feel like they're still using it. But yeah, no, that's so funny that so many people like Gen Z and Alpha like use Snapchat.
Right.
But I think it's because like it's how they view Instagram, it's how they view Facebook. Like,
Well, and I think about it, it's like the Snapchat came out in a time, the age where I think we were on AIM, like you, or we were
mhm,
on MySpace. So I feel like it's nostalgic for them too at this point. But
that's
also,
true.
but think
That's
about
a
it
good.
too, where it's like the at the time Snapchat came out, like they weren't really. I don't want to say weren't old enough to be on Facebook, but I feel like a parent might have told
Mhm.
them like, no, what, like you don't need
Which is
Facebook.
so funny in hindsight. Like,
Oh, because
you don't
in my
need
head I'm
Snapchat.
thinking if you only knew.
Yeah.
Ooh.
No, that was like literally like anything that you did not want to be on Facebook was on Snapchat. And those
Yeah.
days, like, okay, we'll let the little the little
Yeah.
kids go on Snapchat.
Oh
That's so
man.
funny.
Snapchat
Okay,
kind of
that was
scares me.
good.
But yeah.
It really does. Yeah, it really does. Talk about I know you just said that, but I think it ages me just thinking about Snapchat. But okay, that trivia was really, really good. I'm so excited to know what the other ones are. So I'll go vote for them when you put them up on the poll on Instagram
Yes.
and
Awesome.
see if I can like redeem myself and get my score to be a little bit more winning.
Amazing. Okay, well, if you guys made it this far, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I know it was a longer episode, and also there were lots of wordy
We're wordy,
things.
we're
We're
chatty.
wordy, we're chatty. But thank you guys for making it this far. We hope you will leave us a review, and we will talk to you guys next week.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode. If you made it this far, I think we've officially become internet besties. You can always call into the hashtag hotline and say hello, leave a review, or ask your burning questions.
Make sure you follow, rate, and review the podcast wherever you're listening from. Subscribe to the Social Club newsletter for our weekly email, and shoot us a DM over at hashtag manage on Instagram, letting us know what your biggest takeaway was from this episode.